everybody. It's great to see you here today. My name is Tori Robinson, and today I will be interviewing a really cool epilepsy researcher, neuroscientist from RCSI, which is the Royal College of Surgeons in Ireland, and FutureNeuro, which is, I'll have Dr. Omar Mamad tell you more about that and his career in epilepsy. But as I said, he's a neuroscientist and research fellow, and he's doing specifically epilepsy research. It's funded by FutureNeuro, and he's being led by Professor David Henschel. Really cool background, originally from Morocco, but having studied the neuroscience both there and in France. Somehow, and he'll tell us how, but Omar ended up based in Dublin in Ireland. Now he's developing a new project for the rare epilepsy, CDKL5, for which he has received some funding from CDKL5 Italy, thank you so much, and CDKL5 UK, thank you so much, which are charities, as you can imagine from the name, specifically for CDKL5. Now he's doing a pilot project, which is going to enable him to obtain preliminary data, so the basic clean data that he needs to apply for a larger grant. Unfortunately, that's what epilepsy research needs. That's going to enable him to do full-on, much more detailed research into this rare epilepsy, which long-term will be able to benefit people who are affected. So, Dr. Omar Mamad, please tell us more about you and how you got into your work and who inspired you.
Hello, everyone. Thanks, Tori, for these invitations. And I am really pleased actually to talk to you, but also to send my message maybe to the other scientists, to the world, maybe as well to my country. So as Tori mentioned, my name is Dr. Omar Mamad, research fellow in neuroscience at Royal College of Surgeons in Dublin, and working actually at the FutureNeuro Center under the director of our center, which is David Henschel. Is indeed, I am from Morocco, but as well, I am an Irish, because my Irish isn't only recently, so proud to be as well an Irish here. Yeah, so what's brought me actually into Europe? So while I was doing actually my master's degree in bioinformatics in Morocco, we had this wonderful professor called actually Dr. Abdelhamid Ben Azouz. He was one of our lecturers for bioinformatics. At the end of the master, he suggested for me if I am willing actually to do a PhD with him in France, and we applied actually both for some scholarship that was actually only for a couple of months, but he helped me a lot to write the project and apply for other grant, and actually maintained actually the 3 months actually went for 3 years. So it was a wonderful time to spend with him. I learned a lot. He was a director, he was friend, he was like really a good guy that he understand as well, student situation when they need for the funding or any help for that one. And he inspired me a lot. I learned from him how to conduct actually the research in proper way. Then from there, as soon as I finished PhD, I looked for the job, and I got actually 3 jobs. One was in Berlin, Dresden, one in Baltimore, and one in Ireland. And
oh my goodness, you need more offers. Okay, what made you choose the one in Ireland?
More in Ireland. It was in the same year where I played as well Australian football. I met actually some players from Australian football in Bordeaux at the time in 2013.
Rules.
Yes, so they were actually very welcoming, and they see that's wonderful. So I say, like, as my director, he said, you need to go as well. If you want to be scientific, you need to go away from a little bit French, a little bit society or Arabic, but you need to learn a little bit as well more English. So, and I chose Ireland for 2 reasons, which is the closed country as well for France and Morocco, but also that it's in English, and more than that, because I immediately get hosted for a club for Australian football. At the time was Diamonds, but for the moment I play for Swans team here in Dublin in Bushy Park for the last 6 years and a half. Yeah.
I've seen some pictures, by the way, of Omar playing footy, and they're really cool. I'm going to provide the link to his website at the bottom, so under this video, so you will have to check him out. Sorry, carry on, Omar.
Yeah, then later on, the job I got actually in Trinity College Dublin, which is one actually as well wonderful time I spent there, and wonderful college. I conducted the research on electrophysiology, which is, I would call it actually the technique that allow us to record the brain activity and the cells, and we can see actually how the cells, they are activated or inhibited. But more than that, I use as well another technology which called as well optogenetic, which you can target specific neurons and you can see how the brain is responded to the activities. During the 6 years and a half as well, I was in touch with different organisms, such as well, to establish the new collaboration between Morocco and Ireland. And as well, this is something inspired for me from, my director in Bordeaux, because that's how I went actually to Bordeaux, because he was establishing international collaboration between the University of Bordeaux and University Mohammed V. I was actually always saying, I want to do these things as well. So since 2015, immediately after 1 year I joined Ireland, I was working hardly, and I got a lot of help either by the Minister of Education in Morocco and also the Moroccan embassy here and Trinity College. So we went through it for a couple of years, but has been completely memorandum of understanding, has been established on 2018. And I was having the privilege to supervise actually the first student in this collaboration. More than that, we went to Morocco to establish very strong link, not just like, signing documents, but I lead as well, the trip with the provost and his team. I had as well certain of my colleague, Dr. Olivier Gobo and Darren. They were my colleague who helped as well for making strong this link. And now moving to Royal College of Surgeons, it's because actually this wonderful meeting, which is completely different. It was made in June 2019 when I had a new project after in CDKL5. So that was really something amazing. This conference changed completely my thinking, my work toward epilepsy, because this conference had clinicians, have the patients, families, and researchers, but also we have the lucky to meet as well the funders. So you can talk to them for funding your project, and they can tell you a lot about about how they can help you in this situation.
That's so cool, because in the olden days, I think these conferences would just be clinicians and researchers, and that is it. And there was like this ridiculous brick wall between you guys and the rest of the Homo sapiens. Whereas now I think things have got so much better, and it's, there's much more interaction between parties. And then this gives you, I guess, inspiration for your work. Is that right?
Yes, indeed. Completely. It's as I said, I participate for over 15 conferences international. I travel to United States, to Turkey, to Spain, everywhere, like basically a lot of conferences I have. But the one when you have really, these patients that you are doing some work for them and you can meet their family, it's completely different. It changed me toward doing something completely in contact with, with the people that they are affected with the disease, basically.
And so, and who else was at this conference? So you mentioned there were like charities there were families there. What did they say to you that really touched you and made you think, this is my focus for my career, my life, really?
I still remember it was in Edinburgh, and as soon as I reached actually this local for where is the conference and it was the reception, there were actually this nice person called actually Caroline. And just as soon as I arrived, she recognized me and she said, like, welcome, Omar. This is our conference. And she started introducing me to all the, the people from there, which never happened actually in normal conferences. I have been for over 15 conferences everywhere in the world. When you arrive there, you get like kind of lost. But actually, it was completely different because you have this person introducing you to this person and even introducing you like, this is scientific, this is clinician, this is the mom, this is the father for our patients. And it was amazing there. It was completely easy, very, very lovely atmosphere completely there.
I think also one of the key differences that being involved with families makes is that not only does it give you, passion for your work, but also it gives you focus, right? So what is, rather than just researching, I don't know, this part of this gene because you think that is the right thing to do that's going to benefit people, we can say to you, actually, do you know what? It might not even be the seizures that is the worst thing in our case. It could actually be the reflux, or I don't know. Is that the case?
Exactly. This is something was amazing because at the end of that conference, I still remember they had the meeting families, which they made their meetings and they conclude, we need to talk now to our researcher. All right, listen, guys, we have really, yes, we know that everybody's focused on respiratory disorder in different area, but we have certain concern. We would like now our researcher to focus, for example, on gastro, because we have issue when the patient, they have an issue in their health. We would like to maybe to improve the motor behavior. So they were our guide. We can do the work, and you can see our even work, the scientific work has been shifted. Specific me, for example, I was mostly investigating just in brain, recording brain in different area, but now because there is this need, so I try now to move and to give them what they kind of look in, but of course under my expertise and my limit. So it was completely a big help from them, listening to them and do the research as well for them in the same time.
That's so good, because I often say to scientists, geneticists, etc., like often even amongst those with non-rare epilepsies, the mental health comorbidities can be more negatively overwhelming than the seizures themselves. Obviously, they, are distinctly interlinked, but it's, and I think that that's something that, at least in the past, scientists and academics were not aware of because they didn't speak to us a lot. But now that's why it's so great what you're doing. So, and I find another thing which is often a bit of a unfortunate misconception amongst people is that once we hear that you're doing this research into CDKL5 or whatever it might be, that means that we're going to have a cure tomorrow. That's not the case, right? So how do you manage our expectations? Hopefully this sort of thing, this video will help people give them insight into what you're doing. But how do you say to people, do you know what, dude, actually, this isn't going to cure things tomorrow. What do you do?
That's actually because everyone to see the result as soon as possible. We are doing the same as well. We are doing a really big effort by writing a grant application that it takes a lot of time, from editing, from writing, from reviewing, but also to be lucky after you submit, because you can apply for a certain grant and you have been, for example, close. But of course, there is a challenge between the competition with other labs that they are having been well already known, or they are doing as well some, I would say, like more job than you. So this is something that takes maybe time to really to achieve things. And another things maybe to help actually all the people that they are looking for any result from the scientific, by attending, for example, the meetings, which is like what they are doing currently. I have seen actually something wonderful from CDKL5 Alliance. They are organizing actually a live scientific project, which is they invite scientific to present for them their project, but in a live way. So, for example, as well, I was invited only 3 weeks ago by CDKL5 UK, in which they want me to talk to their families and patients and non-scientific. And this is something helps. So by attending this type of work that we are as well preparing for them, will help them to understand how the process is going. It's a long process to get to the cure, because we need to go from the hypothesis, testing, doing the experiment, running, validating the experiment, again, run again another time, check then the level of this experiment, if went really, truly, it takes long really process. But if really the patients and families, they attend regularly, even once or twice per year, they can see that we are there, we are doing our best, and there is always the hope, because every day we are working, there is more knowledge, more finding, and more challenges. And it's good that they can be with you, seeing all the difficulty that you are running. They need to understand as well that we are really, as I say, just for writing the grant, we are applying for per year, for example, for 5 to 10 grant, and sometimes you get one, sometimes really nothing, and doesn't. I would say maybe some people they I would not say like they give up, but they reduce their challenge. But I believe with me being a young scientific, I have really good energy, good enthusiasm to do as much as I can. We are here to learn and to do our best, basically.
Also, Omar, please tell us kind of how you use the information gathered from other epilepsy research in your CDKL5 research. How does that work?
How does it work? It's a really good question because, there is many researchers have been already conducted a lot of work since many years in epilepsy. And if I take just a small example, in our center, we work on a specific molecule called microRNA that has really shown that has, by blocking this certain molecule or inhibiting them. So there is big impact and good improvement for epilepsy by reducing the number of the seizures. And so this is like a good strategy when certain molecule or certain biomarker has been already discovered in certain level of the project. You're trying to use the same experience, the same strategy for for example, for CDKL5. Now, for example, my project will be investigating on effect of microRNA on CDKL5. We would like to see which are upregulated, and we can see if, for example, we could actually rescue even the phenotype. So to see if we can use this biomarker, microRNA, as to rescue the phenotype. So always we use, mostly the knowledge has been gathered from epilepsy, such as, the temporal lobe epilepsy, what they have discovered. And we're trying to move faster using other projects and other rare disorder.
That's really good because it shows that you can have different epilepsies and the research from each of those can benefit each other. And that's why I think it's great to have more people collating information and valuing past studies so that we can quicken basically research that we're doing now and in the future, right?
Yes, that's good.
How can our viewers support you in this? What is it that the general public can do? What about other clinicians and researchers? How do you think everyone can, back you up or back each other up in terms of grant applications and work? What can you do together to achieve more?
So this is a good question. The main key for us is the funders. So when we apply for any grant, for example, there should be a little bit of maybe the help and some kind of the reward, because we know that we are doing more than what we can do, and we do as well our best. But I think by reaching as well to different society, as the one I did actually for CDKL5, Italy and UK, by just hearing my voice as well, explaining for them what I want to do, and they see you completely helping, like you are doing something nice, and you want to help them as well, understanding maybe the disease. So this is one strategy, is we need really big help from others, such as other charities, and that they can hear our voice, they can understand what we are doing, and at the end it will be win-win. We are winning because we get like maybe the funding, we can do go process to the project, but also for them to win because their name will be as one of the funders for this project, but also they can get the result as to see what we have done as well for this type of the project.
Perfect. Okay, I love this. So working together, managing expectations, but realistic hope, valuing empirical evidence, and having that sort of, I guess, along with all of that, positivity where possible, and being there for one another. That's so important.
Yes.
So I think, we could go on forever, but I want people to know that if you want to get hold of Omar, you can do so on the new website, which is OMARMAMAD, so it's whole name.com. And also be aware that it's National Epilepsy Week. Well, we say national, but I reckon that should be global anyway. So everybody get talking about the epilepsies, rare or not. And if anybody is interested in Omar's work, please feel free to contact him. He's all over social media. And your Twitter is, what is it? I've got it, Mamad Omar #5. So you can find you on there. And you said to me before, you're open to collaborations and discussions. So just reach out. Also, I think there's no such thing as a bad question. So never fear that side. And Omar, back me up on this. The more you learn, the more you realize you don't know. So yeah, let's just keep on working together. Have you got anything else to add, Omar?
I would like to thank you for this, because it's important as young researcher that the voice can go directly abroad, not just like, for example, in here in Ireland, but actually this, I hope this message can go abroad in everywhere. But yes, as you mentioned, I am very open for any collaborations and understanding more about CDKL5 and toward the cure. And they can reach me either from my Twitter account or my on RCSI. You can just put my name, Omar Mamad. You will find actually my link there, or in Facebook or in LinkedIn. So as you mentioned, I'm kind of a little bit as well active on the social media, easygoing, and I'm happy to meet anyone that is interested in the work, even not for collaboration. If they have any questions or they want to understand more what we are doing, I'm happy to meet them and explain for them the work, basically.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for your time, Omar. And no doubt, well, one hopes that we will do another one of these calls. I don't know, maybe in a few months' time, where you can update everybody on your work, and because it's so important.
Just to mention, I think as well, on the 19th of June, there is the CDKL5 Alliance virtual meeting in which they will be discussing about their annual meetings. I think if this podcast has been released before that, which I hope, then people actually go ahead and learn more about CDKL5 on just virtual meetings.
Perfect. I'll put all the links below this video anyway. So yeah, if anybody's interested, check it out down there. Thank you so much, Omar.
Thank you,
Take
Tori.
care.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.